Welcome back to Death Before Booze. This is our true crime paranormal podcast where we are very, very serious all the time, no matter what. And we say fuck a lot, even though I try every week to make it to 2 minutes. Today I made it to 12 seconds. I'm Sam.
I'm Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah, so today we are doing a bit of a repeat topic, but it's totally cool because you can never get enough of this topic. How
could you not?
I mean,
how could you get?
Jen, tell the people what they've won for this week.
We're doing Creative Cults 2.0.
2.0.
And I didn't do a crazy one like the Anthill Kids. I promise.
I'm telling you
That's
now,
done.
I
It's
love
done.
you with all my heart.
It's done.
If there is a needle and some sort of literal shit liquid that comes out of it, we might have to end this podcast. Like, this could be the last episode if you bring that up ever again. I know I brought it up, but that was really not nice.
It was bad. I know that one was bad. This one's bad, but it's not like that. So I promise.
Yeah, mine's a little groovy. Mine's a little fucked. Mine's a little everything. So,
well, Sam also made a bingo card for you guys.
Oh yeah, when did we talk about that? We talked about it like 2 episodes ago.
One bingo card.
So I designed a bingo card, and it's ready to go. And then Jen goes, "Does it randomize so we can play?" And I went, "Of course it doesn't. I made it on Canva. I'm not that smart." So your one bingo card will be on Instagram. Feel free to play along. Everybody's going to win at the same time if anybody wins at all. But, I mean, basically now you know what a cult is. It gives you all the little fun facts. And you just
I think it's a pretty good bingo card. And the next time we do cults, we could have a randomized one so that we all can play at the same time.
When we play Creative Cults 3.0, Sam will figure out how to randomize it because you know,
it's fine.
It's just us here, guys. It's me and
I
Jen.
know but
we're not that high tech.
You're like, no, it doesn't randomize. What are you talking about?
I was like, why does it need to? I was like, what do you mean randomize? What does that mean? Why does it need to do that? And then I was like, oh shit, because everyone's gonna win at the same time
because everybody's card is the same,
and everybody's card is the same. And I was like, yeah, I guess that would be a problem.
Well,
so,
if you want to play.
It's in the works. We're working on it. But if you want to play along and just giggle, don't play in your car because you need to drive. Pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But, you can listen to us again later on and play then. And then you'll win with everyone else. So congratulations. Thank you so much.
Yay. No giveaway this time because everybody's winning.
Everybody, you know what? Everybody is winning. We're all here together. We're having a great time.
It's December. We're having a wonderful time.
Yeah, it kind of wanted to snow today. It was a little weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. So I'm excited. What are you talking about?
All right. So I'm covering one of my favorites. And this is I literally have a favorite cult, and it's this. And it's been my favorite since college. I took an intro to religion course, and this is considered a religious cult. And I'm covering Heaven's Gate.
I am so excited for it.
Oh my God. And what really makes me so happy is their website is still up.
That's amazing.
I mean, Heaven's Gate is a pretty prolific religious cult. So I'm sure as I'm telling this story, no matter who you are, where you are, you will have heard some part of this and been like, oh shit, yeah, that I know what this is. But their most famous thing right now is that they've had a website. It's very much from the 90s and it has never changed. So to this day, you can still go to, I think it's heavensgate.org or something. And
I love it.
Where is it? Heavensgate.com. Heavensgate.com. And you can still see their original website. I think the only thing they changed is they added something about mass suicide, but we'll get there. It's fine. So here we go.
Of course they did.
We're starting with Marshall Herf Applewhite Jr.
Wow.
That's a name.
Herf. That's a name.
I really should have just referred to him as Herf throughout all of my notes. Herf. But, I call him Marshall until he gets his other name. So he was born in May of 1931, May 17th, 1931. Very, very educated throughout his life, joined the U.S. Army. In 1965, he started working at the University of St. Thomas in Houston, Texas, and he became the chair of the music department. Apparently, he was a very, very good musician, could play multiple instruments, could sing, the whole nine. His students regarded him as an engaging speaker and a stylish dresser, because that's important.
I mean, sometimes it is.
I get it.
I don't know.
And now, again, this is the 60s, but Applewhite was briefly openly gay. In Texas. In the 60s. I mean, I can't fault him for it. Good for you, dude. I'm very shocked he lived as long as he did. But isn't that horrible? Like, that was like my...
horrible.
That was my moment of, wow, good for him. Like, he survived that.
Right. He survived that. Good for him.
Okay, so he was briefly openly gay, but he was also in a relationship with a young woman. The young woman left him. This is all at the same time, too. Like, drama. Look at that tea. What? So he's in this relationship with this young woman. She left him because her family didn't like him. And he was absolutely heartbroken. Then he left the university in 1970. He claims it was because of his depression and other emotional problems I was having, mostly stemmed from this woman leaving him. But what seems to really have happened is that he was kind of forced to resign because of his homosexual relationship with, whomever.
That's fucked.
And it turns out that relationship was actually with a student. So it's kind of like administration found out and forced him to resign because... not only are you having a relationship with a student, it's also a homosexual relationship. It's still the same.
I get that it's college, but to me, it's still gross.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I get it because I know that college is different. And I know that as a teacher, it grosses me the fuck out when that shit happens.
I kind of feel that if it's not your teacher, like you're like, if it's a math teacher and you're in the like English department and you're not taking that math class and you've never taken that math class and you are of the age of consent, so 18 or over in whatever state it is, then
so it would be college.
Go for it. But if in any way, shape, or form this human has some sort of authority over you, absolutely not, because that ruins the dynamic. That's not it. Like, you can sit there and think, oh no, they love me, oh no, it's this, there's just a weird authority there that's like more than a kink, in my humble opinion. I'm not yucking anybody's yum. If it worked out for you, fantastic. I worry about that manipulation side of it. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Don't worry, because it's probably coming up later in future episodes. So.
Oh, if Jen actually lets us, because I think we've tried to do that topic and Jen's like, it's too icky. I don't blame you though,
it's
because
icky.
It's icky. But nobody really wants to.
But
anyway, okay. So we're going to turn this into a graveyard chat really quick if we keep going down this path.
I know, seriously.
Okay. So next we're going to cover Bonnie Nettles. So Bonnie was born August 29th, 1927. So she's a little bit older than Marshall. She studied and became a registered nurse. She got married to Joseph Siegel Nettles, that's where her name came from, in December of 49. And they had 4 kids. Everything was amazing until 1972, when Bonnie started to indulge her interest in the occult. Really loved, tea leaves and playing with tarot cards and going to fortune tellers. I mean, who doesn't? That's my Saturday every Saturday. If I could. But she began seeing these fortune tellers who told her that she would soon meet a mysterious man who was tall with light hair and had a fair complexion, kind of like our buddy Marshall.
Okay.
And apparently she was communicating with some 19th century monk named Brother Francis, and he was giving her instructions. I'm really not sure what these instructions were, but a few months later, in March of 1972, Marshall and Bonnie meet. Now, we don't actually know where they met. The rumor is that they met at a hospital. So, Marshall says they met at a hospital that Bonnie was working at in Texas, and he was going to visit a sick friend.
I mean, all right. Okay.
that hospital may have been a psychiatric hospital.
So, okay, so it's a little bit weirder, but you know what? It's all right.
It was a meet
Okay.
cute. It was a meet cute. Met, they connected. Within an instant, they recalled that they had met in a past life and that this meeting had been foretold by her extraterrestrials. This is what Bonnie's saying. That their meeting had been foretold by the extraterrestrials, and aliens. She was convinced that she and him had a divine assignment together. So within minutes of meeting each other, the two of them have this grandiose meet cute, and everything in the world aligns, and they're off on they're going together. So she completely leaves her husband, her family behind, never talks to them again. They kind of disappear. We never hear about them again. Marshall is finally on the correct course with his, everything, and we're going. By June of 72, Marshall and Bonnie's beliefs had solidified, so they had their whole little outline of what, we're pushing now. This is our religion. This is our spiritual right. This is what we're going with. And they concluded that they had been chosen to fulfill biblical prophecies. Obviously, the two of them had been given some quote-unquote higher-level minds than other humans on this planet.
Of course.
They wrote a pamphlet that described Jesus' reincarnation as a Texan, which, that's a thinly veiled, hey, Marshall's Jesus. And then they also believed that they were the two witnesses described in the book of Revelations.
I mean, you know what? It's checking a lot of boxes.
I think somebody's got bingo already at this point.
It makes sense.
Congratulations if you're there. They would occasionally visit other churches throughout Texas, churches, spiritual groups, all that fun stuff, to speak of their identities. They referred to themselves as, quote, the two, or the UFO two. I don't know if you're picking up, but Jesus is a UFO.
Wait, he is an actual UFO.
Jesus is a UFO. The whole Bible, all that good stuff, UFOs.
It's all...
Yeah, okay. We'll get more into it, but...
I'm on board.
Cool. Okay, good. They believe they would be killed and resurrected, then transported onto a spaceship while others watched. Because the UFO thing. They referred...
watching.
Yeah.
I like that.
I picture, the Who's down in Whoville.
And they're just,
and then here comes the spaceship, and it's like, and then there's an owl randomly. It all comes full circle. An owl flies by, the gray men come. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So they referred to this, I'm hitting my microphone. I'm sorry. They refer to this, resurrection event as the demonstration. And this might be surprising, but these ideas were very poorly received by, everybody. They were like, so you're telling me Jesus is an alien, which means he could also be an owl. Yeah, dude, we are not on board. So they pivoted. They were like, all right, this obviously is not our audience. They aren't getting it. So they pivoted. They had their first follower. Her name was Sharon Morgan in May of 1974. She abandoned her children, got rid of all of her worldly possessions, and joined Marshall and Bonnie. But this was short-lived because 1 month later she said, fuck this, and went home. We're good.
That's so good.
So this is where Applewhite and Nettles, so Bonnie and Marshall, are really like, all right, we need to find our audience. We need to really hone in on who's gonna listen and understand what we're saying at a spiritual level. Mm-hmm. So they started going to the extraterrestrial conferences, like the UFO conferences.
I mean, that's exactly where you want to go for this type of stuff.
And they started, having advertisements for meetings. And this is where they started recruiting their, quote unquote, the crew. Cool.
Okay.
So now we're actually getting people. At the advertised events, Marshall and Bonnie said they were representatives of beings from another planet, also known as the next level. That's the other planet. Mm-hmm. I mean, my very intelligent mother just served us 9 pies. I don't remember the next level being in there, but cool beans. Have a great time. They were looking for human participants for an experiment. Their one major rule was that you needed to be 18 or older to participate. So at least we're not, going for the minors. Thank you.
PDF files.
Perfect. PDF files. Yep. Marshall and Bonnie explained that those who agreed to take part in the experiment would be brought to a higher evolutionary level. And in April of 75, Bonnie and Marshall shared their simultaneous revelation that they were the two witnesses in the Bible of the Bible story of the end of time. So this is them like recounting their first meeting and like really understanding each other and all that fun stuff out in the psychiatric place.
Yep.
I know Bonnie was a nurse. I'm having a very hard time that she wasn't a patient with all of this going on. But, okay. So, from they had like their first meeting. There was a group of 80 people in Studio City, Los Angeles, who were all about the extraterrestrials, and about 25 individuals joined Heaven's Gate from that meeting. Now, I'm going to refer to it as Heaven's Gate the whole time because that's what it's known as now. But they had like 27 different names. Like they just kept changing their name. Like, it's not, this isn't Fly. This isn't sitting well today. But we're just going to call them Heaven's Gate through the whole thing. So in September of 75, Bonnie and Marshall hosted another meeting, this time in Waldport, Oregon. After selling all of their worldly possessions, saying goodbye to all of their families, 20 new people joined the crew. And the whole group vanished completely from the public eye.
Oh, so Jesus picked them up in the UFO?
Oh, no, they kind of just hid in the desert for a while. Like, they just, 40 days, 40 nights, could be a couple years. We don't really know. So, Marshall and Bonnie would now refer to themselves as Doe and T, respectively. They led their group of nearly 100 people across the country. They slept in tents and sleeping bags. They begged on the streets. And this was their way of trying to get more people and kind of build their resources without getting on anybody's radar. So they really didn't like plant roots because they were afraid that people in the area would be like, dude, this is a fucking cult. Like, shit's going on. They care about UFOs. Jesus does not come from a spacecraft. Like, they were trying to like be incognito. But this allowed the group to focus on Doe and T's doctrine of helping its members of the crew to achieve that higher evolutionary level above regular humans. So like they were better than us. I get it.
It just makes sense. Makes sense.
Totally.
I'm hearing this and I'm going, yep, okay.
I would love a higher evolutionary level. It's like when you eat the mushroom in fucking Super Mario. It's totally. So Doe and T had already reached this level, so now they're trying to help their crew get to this level. Here we go. The group had several names prior to its adoption of the name Heaven's Gate. One was Human Individual Metamorphosis, or HIM.
What are they? The bad guy from the Powerpuff Girls?
I'm like, okay.
Like, what?
So
I feel like I'd follow him if that was a cult. Like...
I will follow him wherever he may go. Oh, maybe that's why they named it that. They had a theme song.
I guess, but
I don't know.
Who knows?
So Marshall, I'm not sure if I made this clear enough, believes that he's directly related to Jesus. Like, I don't know if that's clear. I wrote it down. Obviously, I thought we needed to clarify. Mm-hmm. Meaning that he was an, quote, evolutionary kingdom level above human.
I mean, it's like a demigod.
That's like, yeah. So Doe and T taught early on that Doe's bodily vehicle, so like your body, was inhabited by the same alien spirit that belonged to Jesus. Oh, look, I brought reincarnation back too. I'm doing great today. Look at me. Aliens, reincarnation, man. I'm covering all my bases.
It always comes back to aliens, though.
Oh, it always comes back to you.
This is all about aliens, so.
Yeah. So Doe is Jesus, but T was presented as God the Father because she's older.
Right.
So, obviously. That's Doe's older member. So, in April of 76, the group stopped recruiting and, they become reclusive again. Everything they had was communally shared. In the public, everyone who was part of this group would carry a $5 bill and a roll of quarters. They instituted a rigid set of behavioral guidelines. I hope you're all checking those boxes because we're all going to get bingo really, really quick right now.
Yes.
This included banning sexual activity. 8 men in the group, including Marshall, even voluntarily went castration so they wouldn't be tempted anymore. And they could not use drugs, like any drugs, like not just like cocaine and heroin and the big ones, like drugs like Tylenol. Like they were like nothing.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in 1983, Betty's diagnosed with cancer and she has to have an eyeball removed.
Oh, that's not going to work for Jesus.
Well, she's God, so it's fine. She's not Jesus. She's
that's
God.
True. You know what? You're right. That's fair.
God doesn't need both eyes. I mean, he can see everything. She can see everything. Okay, so the doctor informs her that her disease is already spreading through the rest of her body and she needs to, like, take medical treatment. She needs to get medical treatment or she needs to start planning for the end. Betty decided that this doctor was an idiot. And that her and Marshall believed that she could not die and they were going to ascend together. So, obviously.
I mean, fucking, if you're an above being, like, fucking.
I mean, come on. We're fine. I'm God. It's great. Unfortunately.
We're fine. I'm God. It's
her
great.
Her vehicle was ridden with cancer. It spread to her liver. And she died on June 19th in 1985 at Parkland Memorial Hospital in Dallas, Texas. Under the pseudonym Shelley West because they were trying to hide it from all their people.
Right. So was he just like, no, she's not dead. She's actually alive. And they're like, no, she's fucking dead.
Well, Marshall told the crew that Betty had left because her work was done on this level. But...
Oh, okay.
He himself still had more work to do to help facilitate between her now being on the next level and the crew that were still here in their earthly vehicles. So Marshall assured everyone that Betty was still with them and would continue to help from the next level through him. That's definitely a box. Check it off. I know. So now in the pre-internet days, somehow the numbers of their group steadily grew. It seemed like the members had a common need to belong to a community and they were drawn to this idea of an alternative path or like a higher existence outside the constraints of regular everyday religions and faiths. Like, you know,
right.
I don't want to read the little book and, you know, kneel and stand up and kneel and stand up. That's not doing it for me. I need to know that I am going to be better than everyone else. I think the UFO stuff was definitely a draw for this community. Like, they all had that, yup, there's more out there in the universe than this, and in some way, shape, or form, UFOs and aliens were, like, tangible. As a business group, they referred to themselves as Higher Source. So this is where, like, we are actually making the money, and everybody donates their worldly possessions and all their money, too, when they come in. And they began a website development consultancy business, and that's how they also helped to raise money for the group. In the early 90s, the group launched its website and to make sure that they could send out their message and recruit more followers. And this is the website that you can still go visit at heavensgate.com. This is where rumors begin spreading among the group that the upcoming comet Hale-Bopp held a secret to their ultimate salvation and ascent into the kingdom of heaven. Throughout the 90s, many major media outlets began to report on Heaven's Gate now. You know, they have their website. They're reaching out to recruit again. You know, once Betty died, there was like this brand new life that came about. And they're like, we need to make this work now. Again, they changed their name a few times to like kind of throw off everybody following them in a negative light, like, you know, us. Let's be real, us.
I mean,
because most people didn't take them seriously, and in fact, the only real notoriety that the group had was in UFO circles. So it's the only place they were really getting positive reinforcement of any kind.
I mean, like, can you blame them?
I get it. I totally get it. In October of 96, the group set roots. This is big. They rented a 9,200 square foot mansion, and they called it the Monastery. Very biblically for like UFOs. You think we would have called it like, you know, the ship, the landing,
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
else.
something more extraterrestrial.
So this mansion was near 18341 Colina Norte in Rancho Santa Fe, California. They paid $7,000 a month cash. And the group also purchased alien abduction insurance that would cover up to 50 members and would pay out $1 million per person. The policy also covered abductions, impregnations, and death by aliens.
That's a thing. Like,
I think when we get big enough and we have our own insurance through us, we need to make sure that we get this, because you know my favorite game is it a UFO or an airplane? And I think we might need this in our
I
lives.
cannot believe that this is some kind of an insurance thing where they're like, oh yeah, like, yeah, we totally cover this. What?
I mean, some people get flood insurance. Some people
they
get, like, you know, what is that, like tornado insurance. These people got extraterrestrial.
You get extraterrestrial.
You think? I didn't know that they would have that in California. I mean, Arizona maybe, but like California, they're like a.
I am shocked that somebody actually has it and they sell it to people who are this.
Bitch,
Like,
I am shocked we don't have it already. Like, where the fuck are we? Hello? God. I'm telling you now, when we get our own insurance, we need this. Anyway, between March 19th and the 20th of 97, Marshall taped a video entitled Doe's Final Exit. During his videotaping speech, he spoke of a mass suicide as, quote, the only way to evacuate this Earth. He confirmed that the comet Hale-Bopp was the sign that the group had been looking for, and discussed his theory that a UFO was traveling behind the comet, and that's what was going to pick them up. Marshall and 38 of his followers, there were 21 women and 18 men, all between the ages of 26 and 72, prepared for a ritual suicide. This actually gets really sad. It's not fun.
no, it sounds a lot like Jonestown to me.
No, this was actually, people were like kind of excited. It wasn't like mass chaos because in a second. Yes. It was not forced. This was, everybody was on board. So they were preparing for this ritual suicide that would coincide with the closest approach of the comet, so their souls could reach the next level before the closures of Heaven's Gate. Members believe that after their deaths, a UFO would take their souls to another, quote, level of existence above human, so they'd all be with Betty, which was described as being both a physical and spiritual event. I don't actually know what that means, but there you have it. To prepare for their final moment, most members also videotaped a farewell message to be sent to whomever.
Oh, God.
The suicides began on March 22nd and continued through March 23rd in 3 waves. So to complete suicide, the members took phenobarbital mixed with applesauce or pudding. You know, you didn't really, whatever you liked. And then they washed it down with vodka. After ingesting the mix, a plastic bag was secured around their heads so they would suffocate. Okay. I thought you had a question. Yeah.
I have questions, but I don't think you can answer them.
No. Now I'm laughing because I'm just nervous. Like, this is not fun. All 39 members were dressed in identical black shirts and sweatpants, brand new black and white Nike Decades athletic shoes, and armband patches reading Heaven's Gate Away Team. Each member carried a $5 bill and 3/4 in their pockets. According to former members, this was standard. Like we said before, they always carried whatever around with them. This was standard whenever they left home for their jobs, and, quote, a humorous way to tell us that they had all left the planet permanently. Another member said that this was like a reference to Mark Twain, which I've never heard of. But apparently Mark Twain said somewhere $5.75 was, quote, the cost to ride the tail of a comet to heaven. But, like, I'm not the only one who has never seen any sort of Twain writing that references this. Maybe this was a Marshall getting prolific. I don't know. After a member died, a living member would arrange the body by removing the plastic bag from the person's head, posing the body so that it lay neatly in its old bed, with faces and torsos covered with a square purple cloth for privacy.
Okay.
In a 2020 interview with two members of Heaven's Gate who were not at the...
Thankfully.
In Rancho Santa Fe, they said the identical clothing was a uniform to represent unity for the mass suicide. While Nike decades were chosen because the group got a good deal on the shoes, Marshall was also a very big Nike fan, and therefore everyone was expected to wear and like Nikes as well. Heaven's Gate participants had a saying, just do it, just do it, echoing the Nike slogan, but saying like dough because he was dough, just do it. Marshall was the third to last member to die. Two remained after him and were the only ones found with the bags still over their heads and not having purple claws over their top halves. Before the last of the suicides were completed, packages were sent to numerous Heaven's Gate affiliates or formerly affiliated individuals, as well as one media news outlet. The packages contained 2 VHS videotapes. One was Doe's final exit, and the others were everybody else's farewell messages. And it also contained a letter stating, "We have exited our vehicles just as we entered them." The San Diego County Sheriff's Department received an anonymous tip through 911 at 3:15 p.m. on March 26, suggesting they, quote, check the welfare of the residents. A lone deputy was dispatched. He entered the home through a side door that was left open specifically for this. He saw 10 bodies and was nearly overcome by the pungent odor.
Yep.
After a quick search by 2 other deputies who showed up, they found no one alive. They left until a search warrant was issued. And then after the investigation was done, all 39 bodies were cremated. The Heaven's Gate deaths were widely publicized in the media as an example of mass suicide. The news motivated a copycat suicide of a 58-year-old man living in California. The man left a note dated March 27th, quote, "I'm going on a spaceship with Haley Bop to be with those who have gone before me." He imitated some of the details of the Heaven's Gate suicides as they had been reported. The man was found dead by a friend on March 31st, but had no connection to Heaven's Gate. And then at least 3 former members of Heaven's Gate died by suicide in the months following the mass suicide in the same way. Again, if you are interested, you can literally still see the Heaven's Gate website, www.heavensgate.com. It still looks like it's from the 90s, and there is a link to it on our blog. And there are many, 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 many more details that I could have gone through, but this was already 9 pages, and we're at 33 minutes. So that's Heaven's Gate.
Like, I'm very surprised they didn't take the website down.
There's still Heaven's Gate participants who are running that website. Like, it's not just stuck there. Like, they're still paying for the domain. They're still running the website. They just don't update it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun facts.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Don't join this cult, please. That's because I don't know what they do now. Like,
well, I mean, if you join it, just don't kill yourself. Like, you should be here. You should be here.
You should be here.
Yeah, your vehicle is meant to be
because
here.
there's no Jesus UFO coming. I'm sorry that got me. I'm stuck on that one.
Yeah. At least there were no. Imagine if there were owl feathers found in the mansion, and they were like, "What?"
They're like, "What is going on?" So,
okay.
I'm going to talk to you about Nexium.
Nexium. Now, that's how you say that?
Yes.
Isn't Nexium an agita medicine? Don't you take that so you don't get heartburn? Nexium.
I think so.
Okay.
So It actually is all like there's a couple Roman numerals in there, which is the reason why like when I was going through it, I was like, have you ever heard of this freaking I had no idea how to say it until I watched part of a docuseries on it, which is bizarre.
Oh
so
boy.
Keith, Raniere, okay. When he was younger, his father gave him like a god complex. He's smarter than everybody else. He gets all these girls who want to date him.
Oh my God, we're next level.
Yes. So, of course, as a young kid, he felt superior and better than everybody else because he's like, okay.
Oh,
so, in 1988, because again, I didn't really get dates on him, but anyway, 1988,
okay.
He received a high score on the mega test. Now, I don't know if anybody's heard of this, but the mega test is
a BuzzFeed thing.
It's an unsupervised 48 question test published in a magazine. And despite it being valid and not validated, 1989, the Guinness Book of Records described it as, quote, the most exclusive ultra-high IQ society. So, if you scored high on this magazine quiz, you were considered like really high IQ, like godlike level. So Keith was identified as one of the highest scoring members. So that was his
not like my J14 where it's like, you know, if you like the color pink, you are obviously a Sagittarius.
If you picked all B like this.
Yes. Oh my God.
B,
remember that J14?
Like, yes.
Oh my gosh.
No, this was like, I don't know. And again, everyone said it's not validated, but it's like, well, if you answered really highly, then you are super, super smart. So this is like his claim to fame. And it's mentioned in a lot of the I can't think of the name right now, but the trainings and stuff. So we'll get there. But so he created Customers Byline in 1990, and it was a multi-level marketing company that offered discounts in exchange for recruitment.
No notes.
Well, yes.
Perfect.
93, the company began to decline, and investigation started because people thought it was a pyramid scheme.
I cannot believe this. What?
So, now, in order to kind of calm things, Keith did sign a consent order in 1996 in which he denied any wrongdoing but agreed to pay $40,000 in fines to permanently ban and he had to be permanently banned from promoting, offering, or granting participation into this system.
It sounds like, what is that, the Alfred play? But for like business.
Yes. Like, I didn't do anything wrong, but here's your
but here's your check.
But here's your
and I'll go fuck off in the corner.
So, now this didn't stop him because again, he's very bright. So now he and a friend, Nancy Salzman, who happened to be a nurse, and a practitioner of hypnosis and neurolinguistics programming.
Fuck out of here. How did we both come up with cases where it's a dude and then a nurse?
Right?
Oh my gosh.
So they founded Executive Success Programs, or ESP. And this is a personal development company offering, quote, a range of techniques for self-improvement. And a year later, it was rebranded as Nexium.
I'm waiting to hear Scientology. Go ahead.
So, you know what?
I'm feeling a lot of Ron L. Hubbard right now.
I'm watching this documentary going, holy shit. Like, this is insane. Because the seminars were mostly about human potential. And Keith said he chose the name Nexium because it was based on the ancient Roman system of debt bondage, known as Nexium, which...
Okay.
I didn't know what this was, but
I don't know much about it, but I've heard it.
Basically, a person in debt can pledge themselves as collateral for a loan, and you become a bond slave. And until you're able to pay off the loan, you basically are just a slave to whatever.
It's like self-imposed indentured servitude.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's kind of weird that he chose. I was like, whatever. I don't know. So
you're doing great.
I have to say that most of this research I did before I watched the documentary, and as I'm watching the docuseries, I'm like, this is fucking crazy. So I didn't see how all the pieces fit until I was like and this goes on for 2 seasons. Like they have 2 seasons of this documentary.
Get the fuck
So
out of here.
there's going to be a lot of shit that I don't mention because like the Dalai Lama visited them at one point to make sure that they had some good press going. It's fucking crazy.
You could just get him to show up. Can he just come hang out at my house? That would make us look good,
right.
wouldn't it? He could hang out.
Right,
We could talk
exactly.
about, like,
We could talk
spiritualism
about
or something.
stuff.
So
So
that would get us more followers.
they had these seminars where you could pay money, which I'm going to get to how much and all of that stuff. But the students would have to call Keith Vanguard and Nancy Prefect because it was showing their titles. They're higher in the organization. He was the leader and she was his first student. So therefore,
like Harry Potter, she's a prefect.
yeah, something. It's
Oh my god, I love it.
so.
I'm gonna be a prefect.
Now, the really crazy part about this is that they like, they're in New York, like that's their main place, but they actually ended up getting places in Canada and Mexico. Like they spread out. And they got famous people into this. They got famous people to come to their seminars and to actually like participate and buy into this. It is insane. But
Do we know any of the famous people?
there's a couple that you're probably gonna
Okay.
that you're probably gonna know. One in particular that got into a little bit of hot water with this, but we'll get there. So
Okay.
between 1998 and 2018, 16,000 people completed the ESP courses from New York, Canada, and Mexico.
Is this way? Did they actually did the whole course, or they just bought the book? Because Scientology is
No, they
millions.
went to these courses.
Ew.
You have to go to the courses.
Ew. Okay.
You have to go in person to these courses. So
Okay.
the cost, now, first of all, it starts off as a 5-day intensive course, and it was $2,700.
In the 90s.
You have to go.
I don't want to go.
So you have to go and show up. And what was really funny was one of the people said she trusted this guy. Like she was I guess she was an actress. She was going through a little bit of a slump. So she had her friend say, listen, I just went to this course. You should go and do it. And she's like, I really wasn't, I had no, money, whatever, but I put it in because I was like, fine. She's like, I showed up and I was expecting some grand stage and yeah, you can do it. She's like, we were in a Holiday Inn conference room.
Oh my god, it's like in Little Miss Sunshine when Greg Kinnear is doing his whole spiel, and it's in a college classroom, and everyone's just
yes, and it's
that's
so
all
she's
I'm
like,
picturing
I
right now.
literally was like, she's like, what the fuck is this? And then the guy was like, no, day 3 is where people get their breakthroughs, because that's where they start talking about self-esteem. So
why couldn't we just start on day 3?
right. So they marketed this for personal and professional development, teaching strategies to overcome their limiting beliefs, their fears, anxieties, and hence reach their full potential. Now, this sounds fucking amazing. It is a seminar to help you because you're holding yourself back with your fears, your anxiety. So their goal is they're going to sit you down and they're going to give you ways on how to overcome that. And it was crazy because a lot of people had these breakthroughs. They went to these seminars and they were like, wow, I feel great. There was one in particular, and I think I get to this later, but I'm just going to go for it now. There was this guy who had Tourette's, and they cured him of his Tourette's.
Get the fuck out of here.
He was able to, if you see him now, he doesn't have the tics or anything anymore. So you're like, what the fuck happened? But they met with him.
Okay.
They talked to him about why are you, they're trying to say, what is holding you back? And the way that they're talking to him, he was enlightened. And there's a couple of people who went to see them with Tourette's after and were like, I got to get in on this because it's very difficult for me to function in normal society. So after that, they felt so much better. It sounds fucking crazy.
I'm
but
looking
this
at you like you
is-
got two heads right now, girlfriend. I really.
but literally, this was like the seminars you go to reach your full potential. You're having a little bit of a struggle again. One was in the music industry, and she really was kind of like not happy with life. She went there after like a couple of seminars. She felt like she was like she wanted to become a coach. She wanted to go in all in on these seminars, and she
now
wanted
we
to
have
help
Taylor
teach
Swift.
people. I mean,
no, I'm so sorry, Taylor. That's not true.
So the mission statement is Nexium embodies a set of consistent and universal principles in which all humans can participate. These principles, apart from any mystical or religious notions, allow for life to persist and uphold a diversity of beliefs. By creating a new understanding, we can actualize our potential in life and work together and consistently bring human existence to a whole new level. Yet, this cannot be done with first raising human awareness, fostering an ethical humanitarianism, and celebrating what is truly meant to be human, means to be human, and this is our mission.
Yeah, that sounds like really good but fluffy all at the same time, doesn't it?
Right? Like it's a little bit of fluff
It's
because
a
you're
lot of
like,
bit
aren't
of
you saying
fluff.
the same thing?
Like you just
But, like-
rephrase the same thing 6 sentences.
And said it like nicer, put some synonyms in there that sound nice. So the program had students recite a 12-point mission statement pledging to purge themselves, quote, of all parasites and envy-based habits.
What is a parasite
To enroll-
considered here? Do we have a definition for a parasite?
Basically, I feel like it's anything that they feel like is holding them back. But
Okay.
eventually people who kind of like
Well, I
we
didn't
get
know
to
if,
the
like,
people who
people
leave,
with like physical
because-
worms were going there, being like, "Help me!"
No, I
have,
don't.
like-
Well, I mean, the person with Tourette's like went there and was like cured. So like, who knows? But
Okay.
they are helping to help to enroll others. So basically, they're trying to get more recruitment, ethically control as much of money, wealth, and resources of the world possible with the success plan. Their mantra was, "There are no ultimate victims, therefore I will not choose to be a victim."
Okay.
All right. You know, they taught people they called suppressives try to get in the way of Nexium. So there's these people who don't believe in this, and that's the suppressive people, and people who turned against Keith and his, you know, underwent the fall. And
Dream
they were never,
squashers.
exactly. Yes.
Yup.
They're lost people for like, you know, things, whatever. So in the classrooms, they would do ritualistic practices, whatever. And the thing was, you wanted to be able to grow in order to get different leveling, so of coaching and mentoring. And this was described because every meeting you went to, you would wear a different color sash, like showing your rank. Okay, so kind of like
Scientology so bad right now. It's not
yes,
funny. Or
so
like
kind of like if you're in karate or jujitsu or whatever,
Okay.
and you get the different belts for the different levels. Well, you have to get once whoever has the higher level gets. I mean, of course, Keith wore the white one, which is the highest level that you could
there's the
possibly
White
be.
Power Ranger. Okay.
Exactly, and then all the rest people, you can get a striped one, you can get double striped, you can get it's crazy. And like even people in the program was like, I don't know why like everyone's so obsessed with it, but he's like, it just felt good to help other people. So I think that it's not that people were like totally like, oh, alien Jesus is coming. It was more of a matter of, I feel good doing this, I want to help other people, but this isn't like a yoga class.
I was
you
gonna
know?
say it
I went
kind
to
of sounds very
you know?
like nice, but I have a feeling it doesn't. Like it's not.
It's not.
It's not nice.
No.
It's not. Nice.
All greetings
Greetings.
Okay. With Keith included a kiss on the mouth, which
COVID.
it
hello.
seemed, yes, 17 hours of practice, which alienated their participants from the outside world. And it was to the point where the people who were even of the lower ranking coaches, their job was like, you get up, you do, like she described her whole day was like, she gets up, she goes here, she does this, she has to recruit people, she makes calls, she does this, and then she has to participate in all of the regular scheduled like meetings and stuff. So you really had no time for anything. So it really was a matter of just like sucking them in, and it was just they were isolated.
How do they like make money?
Well, see, that's a great question.
Okay.
Because I don't know where that came in here. I'm literally
like, so do these people like live like on a campus? Do they like, how do they like,
higher ranking people would live in a commune like housing, instructing classes.
Cool.
Regular people, I assume, would just be home, but like it would just be, you know, like they would have their own homes. They wouldn't live in like a commune area.
But then how do I do all this stuff all day and not have a job to like pay to like be alive?
You know what? That's what a couple of them said was like, I'm literally doing this and like I'm not making ends meet. And it's like very difficult because the money for the seminars, like there's a 5-day, sure, but people kept taking more and more of them because there's the 5-day intensive one, which is $2,700, but you can go into many different ones and you can recruit like go into how to recruit people, like all of these good things.
If I recruit people, do I get a discount?
It doesn't seem that way.
Oh, well then fuck this, I'm out. Like,
right. So it's like, you know, so blah, blah, blah. So the exploration of meaning, or EMs, is described as therapy by numbers, the exploration of meaning, and it involves senior members questioning participants as they divulged memories. So childhood memories. So like, where do you think that came from? So it's like a therapy session, but with people who are not therapists.
Scientology, dude. Did they just go, I read an Ron whatever book and said, I'm going to change the letters? Like,
you know,
because this sounds really like where they're like, tell me your deepest, darkest secrets and I won't tell anybody, but I'm going to blackmail you until you die about it. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, I hate it. Ew, I hate it, Jen. Why?
So companies in Nexium claimed its training was a trade secret. So the subject to non-disclosure agreements, but they used a technique called rational inquiry to facilitate their development. I put a picture on the blog because it looks like a fucking madman wrote this thing. Because it's like, this is the, and it goes all the different places. And I'm like, what is, like, it's bizarre. It literally looks like someone is just kind of
Charlie Day
shit as they go along.
Charlie Day with the red string.
Where you're just like everything connects to. So now, again, the example, some of this rational inquiry to them anyway, to Keith, is the systematic method of gaining knowledge using reasoning logic and critical thinking to understand. So the idea that, okay, why are you having this fear? This fear is holding you back. But the crazy thing is that every time people would feel better because, you know, we're talking out the fear. I realize I don't need it. I don't need to have the anxiety anymore, blah, blah, blah. And they went out in the field to recruit people. Literally, they would go into meetings with like Keith and Nancy and be like, you suck at recruiting. You have to do better. Like, you have to do better.
Oh,
like,
I love
so
that.
It wasn't like a all kumbaya. It was like, hey, do fucking better because we need
Stop
money.
sucking.
Okay. Exactly.
We need money that I still can't figure out how the fuck we're making.
I never figured it out. But and you know what? If someone else like looks into this and like actually watches the huge docuseries on this, please tell us how they made money because I did not catch that.
It must be just because people pay for all these classes.
But then I'm like, but how are you in the organization making money? You're not.
Yeah, like where's the profit
what are
share?
you doing?
I don't understand.
So it is like it's.
This is definitely one of those when you're at the top, you make the most money. But when
it's the pyramid scheme.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, he already did that. So now he's doing it again, but he's masking it with.
But it's really not because
helping people.
Literally,
nobody's making money.
The only people making money literally are like because, like you said, the people recruiting. It's not like they get a discount or they get like a commission. They just like, oh, you brought on 20 friends, do better. Like, it's not like, oh, you got 20 friends, okay, your next 2 classes are free. Like, you're saying that doesn't happen.
No, So I really am like at a loss for how they made money.
Oh my
But
God.
again, now in 2003, the Ross Institute sued them because for copyright infringement because they
Ooh.
said that some of their publishings were very similar to theirs. Even though this really didn't go anywhere because it was dismissed, they said
Yeah.
whatever, it was fair use. Forbes actually published an article that year harshly profiling Keith as the Jesus like figure where he is sowing the seeds of cult allegations and dark undercurrents. So Forbes came out with this article, and this is kind of where other members were like, oh, and they're seeing this, and this is kind of like the beginning of like really that rising action before we get to like holy fuck.
Briggs
So
is very upset about this, as you can tell.
yeah. Kristen Curick, she's an actress.
Oh, see, that sounds
She
really
became-
familiar.
She became involved with Nexium in 2006. And then they went to Vancouver to recruit her co-star because they're both in Smallville, Allison Mack.
Okay. Okay. I didn't watch that, but I knew that name. Okay.
So they both were from Smallville. So this is again how crazy this is because it's like famous people. In 2013, Kristen left. Again, it kind of was, said it was unclear why, but she actually came out to say, like, I noticed things were going wrong. There were a couple of other female specifically in the group who were like, something's not right. Like, something is not right here. There's something that they're hiding. Mac, however, so Allison, became a very enthusiastic person in this. She persuaded her parents to take courses. She became a key person for the recruitment. She was like all in on this.
Okay.
So between 2007 and 2010, members began to seek outside help for criminal investigation because they're like something's like, not only are we not getting any money here,
Something is wrong
but
in Denmark.
something's not good.
Yeah.
So according to Times Union, Nexium developed a reputation for aggressively pursuing people who broke from its ranks, including using legal action to punish people. So if you left, they would try to, yeah.
This is okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is just so Scientology. Like all I'm seeing is Leah Remini on all those fucking shows about
Yeah,
how terrible.
right?
Like, this is bad. This is
I
like,
know.
like I'm getting all the ick. I feel dirty. I want to take a shower, and I want to give Leah Remini a big fucking hug. That's all I want to do.
I know.
Ugh.
That poor lady. So it was kind of, now that they were kind of seeing that the organization was operating for nearly 2 decades, okay, under the mask of self-help programming for like wealthier people, for like CEOs of companies, for like actresses and whatever. However, there was something not great going on behind the scenes because a lot of members were abused physically and emotionally. So, Nexium was a pyramid scheme, yes, obviously, and a sex trafficking operation.
No. Sorry, that was
It's
really
called
loud.
the
No.
sex. No, it's called like Nexium. Like a lot of the sources I looked at were like the sex cult, and I was like, oh god. So here's how that works. Basically, they would use women as prey because there's for Keith. So Keith would be the one, obviously, to have relations with all of these women. There's other things that he did, and that's what we're going to get into what the off branch is, because they have Nexium, but there's a couple of off branches, and one was specifically for women, and it was called DOS. And it's a secret society of women that started in 2015, in which female members were allegedly called slaves.
Nope.
They were branded
Nope.
with the initials
What?
of Keith
No.
and Allison.
No.
They were subjected to corporal punishment
No.
and required to provide nude photos or potentially damaging information about themselves as collateral.
Homie, no. Why? Ew.
So, yeah. So, 2017, a former member, Sarah Edmondson, she's a Canadian actress.
Cool.
She revealed damaging information about Keith that included the existence of this secret society in which the women were branded on the lower abdomen with a cauterizing pen.
No. Can it just be like one of those cute little tanning stickers and you make me go tanning for a couple
Or
weeks?
just like a stick-on. Right. Like a stick-on.
Dude,
yeah.
a cauterizing?
And this cauterizing pen. So, and this was done by a Nexium affiliated doctor, which again,
Couldn't get a tattoo? Like, I couldn't just get a tattoo? What the fuck am I, a steer? No, I hate this.
So, December 15th, 2017, the ABC News magazine on 2020 aired an expose, including interviews with many former members who alleged they had these experiences in the group.
No.
So several former members reported financial and sexual predation by the leaders.
I don't like it.
So,
Nope.
then we get to the arrest. Now, March 2018, after the 2020 came out, Keith was arrested and indicted on charges related to the DOS, including sex trafficking conspiracy, and conspiracy to commit forced labor.
Have I said
April-
I hate this yet? Like, have
I
I
know,
mentioned
right?
that?
Allison was arrested in April. Similar charges, but according to
The Smallville chick?
Because according to prosecutors, she recruited women for this women-only society because she was having a relationship with Keith, as was pretty much all of the other women, and she was like so devoted to him.
Is he good
that
looking?
she was like, I will do. Not really, he just looks kind. And honestly, even like the people said, like when he came in to like give like a speech or whatever, everyone's like, this is the guy who's like the super brilliant, like the guy who scored this high score. And like when he talks, he's very calm. It's very weird because it is one of those things where he's a guy that you'd be like, it's like a college professor that's very much like, that's like, hey guys, we're just not going to do any work today. We're just going to chill. We're just going to hang out. Like, it's kind of like he has that kind of vibes.
Ew.
So, but she was so devoted to him that she literally like recruited these women and were like, you're going to join the DOS program. So she pushed these women into this program.
Oh, I don't like that. She's not a girl's girl. I'm out.
No,
you gotta be a girl's girl.
So she was allegedly paid by him to force them into engaging in sexual activity. So he was like, I'll give you money. Okay.
It's this dude with the blue eyes?
I think so, yeah.
With like,
kind of has that weird haircut.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women, and then like one dude in the middle.
Yes.
That's
because
him? He looks like
that's
a B-list
him because
actor.
right, like
he looks like a Hallmark
around
guy.
him.
Yeah. Like
all of those women around him are her daughter, and all of those people who are involved in this, because he wasn't obviously he's the leader, like he's the one who, but all of these people had a role in this.
Yeah, he's
so the
special.
authorities seized Nexium properties. They arrested more people, including Claire Brofman, who was in charge of the New York branch, Nancy Salmon, her daughter, and an other Nexium employee, Kathy Russell. So all of these women did get jail time. Some of them. Some got no jail time, but like got other things charged or whatever. But but some women also got just lesser sentences. They all pled guilty. However, Keith didn't, because he didn't think he did anything wrong.
I am shocked. Hold on.
So yeah,
let me hide my shock again. This is like the third time I've had to be like.
So he was charged.
Okay, I'm ready.
Or he was tried in 2019. Prosecutors revealed decades-long pattern of grooming, sexual abuse of girls and women, physical and psychological punishments against people who exited Nexium, and hacking litigations against his enemies.
I'm so sorry. This B-list fucking Hallmark wannabe actor dude did all of
right?
this shit. I fucking
Yes.
can't. I
Right?
cannot. Like, okay. And it all started because he took a test in a magazine, like when he was 10.
Yes, he took a test in a magazine. He created this rational inquiry, which it's so complicated that nobody understands it. He created his own mathematic solutions on things, which he says people don't understand. Which,
Well, yeah.
yeah, because it's dumb.
It's
He also had
dumb.
possession of CP,
CP?
child porn.
Oh, no. Fuck him. I'm done.
So there we are.
No. PDF files. I don't like them. I don't like
I
it.
know.
Go fuck
So
yourself.
on June 19th of 2019, he was convicted on the top charge of racketeering and racketeering
That's a good one.
conspiracy, as well as several other charges, and was sentenced to 120 years in prison.
I say, isn't that what they got Al Capone on, racketeering? Good for them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed. I like that.
He was also ordered to pay $3.5 million to 21 victims of the sex trafficking so that they could remove the scars from the branding.
That's not enough. That's just not enough.
He has since tried to appeal because we're shocked.
4 times now.
Because he said the FBI framed him and planted the child porn.
I hate when they do that.
But
I hate it.
a woman from Mexico who was a part of Nexium, she was 14 at the time that she entered Nexium, told the judge that Keith took these explicit pictures of her. So that goes against his claim of this was planted.
Yo, at least
So.
Michael had like an 18 or over clause. I'm just
I agree.
saying.
Honestly, you would think that this one would because it's so like it seems so complex, but it
Well,
didn't.
not if he's, a PDF file.
Exactly. So he says
Okay.
when he was arrested or when he was convicted, quote, "I do believe I am innocent of the charges." Again, we're shocked. "It is true I am not remorseful of the crimes I do not believe I committed at all."
Yeah, what is that? 6 times shocked now? I can't believe
Yeah,
it.
right. And so to end this, our little Keith, since his conviction, he has continued to hold a small set of followers still
No.
from his prison cell
Are you stupid?
who are continuing to recruit.
No. Oh, come on, guys. We're better than this. We are better than this. We're better than this,
yeah.
people. Come on. Use all those
like-
bullshit things he put in your head and stand on your own. Individualism.
I have
better.
to say, as because there's a couple of documentaries, and the one that I watched was the HBO one called The Vow, but there's one on
Oh, that's about
Netflix.
this. Okay.
There's one on Netflix, I believe, called I think it's like Silencer or something like that, or something like that. And it's shorter. The Vow has 2 seasons. Okay, and it's just on this cult, so there's a lot of shit. But as I'm watching and sitting through the footage of the classes and stuff, I'm like, it's very easy for someone to go, wow, these are my people, because it's
Isn't
so
that crazy?
it's a welcoming environment, and the way that they're speaking to them is we want to make sure that you can live to your full potential, because right now you're not living to that. You're not allowing yourself because of all of your doubts. And then people actually had an awakening, and we're like, wow,
It's like a Tony
that's
Robbins
exactly
event.
what's happening.
Yeah. Or what was
Yeah.
that? Remember, what was
And-
that, Pain and Gain? Where, what's his name at the beginning? You know what I'm talking about with that movie? Where Mark
haven't
Wahlberg's in
seen
the
that
thing.
one.
Oh my God, you have to watch that movie.
I know, because I did the case in
Yes.
Florida, but I never watched the movie. I still
Oh,
haven't seen that.
My God.
But
yeah.
but it's just so crazy because I feel bad because the people who were actually felt something from this, you're getting completely scammed, and the guy is totally using sex, using women, and it's actually a lot of the women who left and later were like, yeah, shit's going down and this is not okay. And the guy members, he's very charming. He's very easy to kind of go, so I could see it. I'm like, this is like this is like, I can see it being like a professional development seminar on like self-esteem that I would take for a professional development and be like how to encourage students to do, it's so crazy that and that it was really targeted towards like CEOs, actors, musicians, and it's so crazy who they got to get in here, and like it's fucking bizarre. Like, it's bizarre.
I'm gonna call this the Temu Scientology.
It honestly, it really seems like that. Like, the more I was looking at it, the more I'm like,
yeah.
We're gonna go with we'll go with Shein because it lasted more than a Temu one.
I feel very dirty after hearing this one. I really want to go take a shower.
I mean, it's better than last one, so I feel like it's better than
yes, this is much gooder, much gooder than the last one.
This one was just a lot about a lot of
people lost a lot of money, unfortunately, for those women. That was absolutely dreadful, and I'm very upset about that.
And they're branded because of fucking why do you gotta
disgusting? I couldn't just get a tattoo.
It really is.
Like, why did I gotta get ow, I don't like that. No, yeah, definitely not. I don't like that. What did I learn? I learned self-esteem and personal development is extremely important, and you are definitely worth it, and you are 100% exactly who you're supposed to be at any given moment. So, awesome sauce.
But make sure if you're gonna go to a seminar that it's not that you do your research.
Do your research, and if somebody tells you, hey, let's start recruiting for more people, maybe let the little red flag in your head kind of start to wave a little bit and be like, what am I doing?
Don't think this is gonna work.
Don't know what they want. Also, and I'm just gonna put this out there for everyone, you can believe me, you could not. Aliens exist. I definitely feel they do. I will die on that hill. But I don't think they're related to Jesus. I don't think Jesus was an alien. I think... I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know everything. I've never done the mega test. I could be incorrect. But I mean, really, you're right.
You haven't done the mega test, so therefore.
I feel deep down that Jesus and aliens are not one and the same. Just throwing it out there. You believe, you do you, boo. Not yucking your yum.
Right.
I love you no matter what. Hugs and kisses. Maybe Jesus is not an alien. That one I'm not.
I'm gonna go with a hard no on that one.
Okay. Cool. Glad we're on the same page.
But sure, we went with aliens, so that's
And we definitely are going to get alien insurance one day. That is also going to happen. Thank you for coming to my Death Before Booze talk.
I can't believe that is something I learned. I didn't realize that you could have alien insurance.
I mean,
I didn't know that was a thing.
You didn't take that part. You didn't learn that part with your life insurance test?
When I was doing life insurance.
They didn't say, the extraterrestrial clause? That wasn't
there?
Okay,
so here's life insurance, here's home insurance, and also you might want to get yourself some alien extraterrestrial insurance.
Yeah, I watched Independence Day one too many times. We definitely need that.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yep. It's so crazy.
Shit. Well, thanks, guys, for listening to Creative Cults 2.0. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know. Follow us on all of our socials. Go on YouTube. You can see all the weird faces I make while Jen tells me these stories. If you are all caught up and want some more content, go jump on Patreon. You can join us there for as little as $5 a month. Totally get it. It's the holidays. People probably don't have that extra money. But, if you do want more content, that's where we are. You can find our Patreon through our website, deathbeforebooze.com. If you want to get some fun gifts for all your friends, go to our merch page. Also, you can find that at deathbeforebooze.com. If you want to see any of our pictures or read up on any of our sources from today's episode, that's also on our blog that you can find at our website, And I feel like I'm missing something every week, but I can't find the little Post-it that used to tell me what I need to say. So as soon as I find that, this will be much better
It's
again.
fine. I think you're doing a great job.
Thanks. I
think
really
you're doing a
needed
great
that
job.
today.
I think you're doing a great job.
Okay, friends, we love you. We'll see you next week.
Well,
Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye. Stay spooky.